Hello, hi, my dear students. Welcome to my YouTube classes. I am your physics lecturer. So, how are you? Had your tiffin? In last class, I completed magnetism and matter chapter. So, today I want to start a new concept of your second PUC syllabus, that is dual nature of radiation and matter. Dual nature, dual role, two role, acting two times. Dual role means two. So here dual role, dual nature of radiation and matter. So what is the main thing that you are learning in this chapter is you are learning about the two properties of the two type behavior of matter, that is light, especially light, sunlight. So what is the main highlight of this chapter? You will learn about two different characteristics of sunlight in this chapter. So see here, in ancient times means in the 18th century, especially in 1887 to 1903. In the year of 1887 to 1887 to 1903. See the main things, several important things happened during this years. So the first one is, see, the properties like interference, diffraction, polarization of sunlight were explained. The first thing is during this year, the three properties, the three main properties, which are there: polarization of light, diffraction of light, interference of light. They proved light is having only wave nature. Light is having wave nature. Light is a wave. What is a wave? Wave is a kind of particle. When I throw a pebble onto the surface of water, that is a wave, because the water medium gets disturbed. Any disturbance in a medium is called a wave, right? A disturbance in a medium is called a wave. So here also the three properties, interference, polarization, diffraction, these properties proved that light is having the wave nature. And another two properties, one is refraction of light, another one is reflection of light. Refraction of light, reflection of light. These proved particle nature of light. Light is having the particle nature. Then comes, see, photoelectric effect. That experiment we will study in this chapter. Einstein's photoelectric effect. Compton, Einstein, scientist name Compton's effect, Compton's effect, Einstein's photoelectric effect, they proved that light is having particle nature. Light is having particle nature, light is having wave nature. So phenomena like interference, polarization, diffraction, they proved wave nature of light. Phenomena like refraction, reflection, they proved particle nature of light. And see, another things, Newton's corpuscular theory. Newton's corpuscular theory. Newton's corpuscular theory. See, what I am telling is interference of light, interference of light, interference of light, diffraction, diffraction of light, polarization, polarization of light. These supported wave nature of light, wave nature of light, wave nature of light. The supported wave nature of light. Next, see Newton's corpuscular theory. This theory, see, these are the three important concepts that you learn in the chapter of wave optics. Wave optics ನಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುವಂತಹ ಬೆಳಕಿನ ಮೂರು ಅತಿ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾದಂತಹ ಗುಣಲಕ್ಷಣಗಳು. So here Newton's corpuscular theory, it said that it explained that light is traveling in the form of particles which are called corpuscles. With a speed of 3 into 10 to the power of 3 into c speed of light 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meter per second. 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meter per second. So this is the theory which explained the particle nature of light. Next, Planck's quantum theory. Planck's quantum theory. Planck's quantum theory is explained the particle nature of light. So here you can understand one thing, that light is having both wave nature and particle nature. So it is called dual nature. Particle nature and wave nature ಏನು ಕರೀತೀವಿ ನಾವು dual nature ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ. It is only called dual nature. So next thing what is happened during this year is William Crookes, a scientist named William Crookes, he discovered cathode rays. William Crookes discovered cathode rays. William Crookes ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು? He discovered cathode rays. And see, a famous scientist known as J.J. Thomson, he proved that cathode rays are negatively charged particles. Cathode rays are a group of a bunch of negatively charged particles. Cathode rays are nothing but these are the group of negatively charged particles which are having speed equal to, see ಏನು ಪ್ರೂವ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಇವರು J.J. Thomson, ಇವರು negatively charged particles with speed v equals to 0.2 times of c. 0.2 types of speed of light. So 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meter per second, it is regarded as the speed of light. So here see this scientist J.J. Thomson, the famous one, he proved these are negatively charged particles traveling with a speed of 0.1 to 0.2 times of the speed of light. And he also stated one thing, that charge by mass of these particles equals to it is equals to yes 10 to the power of 11. How much it is? 10 to the power of 11. Yes, 10 to the power of 11. Specific charge ratio 1.76 into 10 to the power of 11 coulomb per kg. So he conducted an experiment and proved experimentally that specific specific charge ratio. ಇವರು ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಯಾರು J.J. Thomson ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದ, ಇವು ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ಲಿ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ಡ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ಸ್ ಗಳದಾವ. ಇವುಗಳ ವೇಗ ಬೆಳಕಿನ ವೇಗಕ್ಕಿಂತ 0.1 to 0.2 ನಷ್ಟಿದೆ. ಆ ವೇಗಕ್ಕೆ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ 0.1 to 0.2 ಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಲೈಟ್, ಆ ವೇಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಅವು ಚಲನೆಯನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾವ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಅವುಗಳ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕ್ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ರೇಷಿಯೋ SCR ಏನು, ಎಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು, ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕ್ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ರೇಷಿಯೋ, ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕ್ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ರೇಷಿಯೋ SCR ಎಷ್ಟದ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಟು ಮಾಸ್ ರೇಷಿಯೋ, ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಡಿವೈಡೆಡ್ ಬೈ ಮಾಸ್, ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಬೈ ಮಾಸ್, ಇದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕ್ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ರೇಷಿಯೋ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ. this value is equals to 1.76 into 10 to the power of 11 coulomb per kg. 1.76 into 10 to the power of 11 coulomb per kg. This is the specific charge ratio of cathode rays. It was proved by J.J. Thomson. So in the year of 1897, Hertz, a famous scientist known as Heinrich Hertz, he was conducting an experiment. He conducted an experiment about electromagnetic waves. See, Hertz was conducting an experiment about electromagnetic waves, how to detect the electromagnetic waves and how to produce the electromagnetic waves. So Hertz experiment was based on detection and production of EM waves, electromagnetic waves. I mean X-rays, gamma rays, visible light, ultraviolet light. Those are nothing but those are called electromagnetic waves. So when he was conducting an experiment about EM waves, that experiment strongly supported wave theory of light, and see Hertz only passed UV radiations, ultraviolet light on some metal, One minute. See here, these are metals. Hertz he made ultraviolet light to fall on, ultraviolet radiations to fall on metals, and these metals emitted negatively charged particles. These are emitted negatively charged particles. And see, he also verified another thing. See, what I am telling is Hertz passed ultraviolet radiations on certain metals after the incidence of ultraviolet light. ಮೆಟಲ್ಗಳ ಮೇಲೆ ಅಲ್ಟ್ರಾವೈಲೆಟ್ ಲೈಟ್ ಬೀಳೋ ಥರ ಮಾಡಿದರು ಹರ್ಟ್ಸ್. ಇಮ್ಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ ಏನಾಯಿತು, ಆ ಒಂದು ಮೆಟಲ್ ಏನಾಯಿತು, ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ಲಿ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ಡ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ಸ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಎಮಿಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಎಮಿಷನ್ ಆಯಿತು, ಇಜೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಯಿತು. ಆ ಮೆಟಲ್ನಿಂದ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ಲಿ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ಡ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ಸ್ ಬಂದವು. ಮತ್ತು ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಏನು ವೆರಿಫೈ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನೀವು, Hertz he noticed another thing that when certain metals, when they are heated by a source, by an electrical source, those metals also ejected or emitted negatively charged particles, and these negatively charged particles are having the same speed as that of cathode rays. So by observing the Hertz results, J.J. Thomson named cathode rays or these negatively charged particles as electrons. See, J.J. Thomson named them as electrons. He called these cathode rays which were initially discovered by William Crookes by observing their speed, their specific charge ratio, and Hertz results. J.J. Thomson he named these particles as electrons. ಏನಂತ ನೇಮ್ ಮಾಡಿದ? These particles are called electrons. And next comes RA millicon in the year of 1903. In the year of 1903, RA millicon ಅನ್ನೋದು RA millicon. RA millicon. He was the scientist who said about the charge of an electron. He conducted an experiment. He conducted an experiment and given about charge of an electron. Charge of an electron. Charge of an electron is E equals to 1.602 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulomb. Yes, what is the charge of an electron? Charge of an negative charge. Electron means negative charge. No need to write minus here. It is understood. This value means negative charge only. Negative value only. 1.602 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulomb. It is the least charge. Very minimum charge. Least charge occupied by an electron. Least charge gained by an electron. So this charge was given by, this value was given by the scientist RA millicon in his experiment, oil droplet experiment. Now the experiment ado oil droplet experiment. Oil droplet experiment. In the oil droplet experiment, the famous scientist RA millicon gave an idea about charge of an electron, and charge of an electron is given by the scientist as 1.602 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulomb. So next, see, after 1903, scientists they started to think about how the electrons are emitted from the metal surfaces. How to get electrons from the metal surfaces. So this is about basic idea of electrons, and you know that electrons are negatively charged particles present everywhere. They are present in every matter of the universe, right? And electrons are having a charge of 1.602 into 10 to the power of minus 19. Mass of an electron is 9.1 into 10 to the power of minus 31 kg. Mass of an electron is this much. And the specific charge of an electron is 1.6. Specific charge means it's charge divided by mass. Charge this value divided by mass this value. When you divide these two values, you will get 1.76 into 10 to the power of 11 coulomb per kg. It is known as specific charge ratio. Specific charge ratio is the ratio of charge to the mass of an electron. Charge to the mass of an electron, right? Charge to the mass of an electron. See here, what are the concepts that you are going to learn in this chapter, Divine Nature of Matter and Radiation. The first main concept is about electron emission. What is an electron emission? What are the types of electron emission? Next, there are mainly three types of electron emissions. In that, you will you are having a detailed study of photoelectric effect. ಮೂರು ರೀತಿ ಇದಾವೆ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಗಳು ಎಮಿಷನ್ ಆಗೋದು. ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಗಳು ಒಂದು ಮೆಟಲ್ ನಿಂದ ಹೊರಗೆ ಬರೋದು ಮೂರು ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿದಾವ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಫೋಟೋ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ನ ಬಹಳ ಡಿಟೇಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಈ ಪಾಠದಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಫೋಟೋ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ನೇಚರ್ ನ ತೋರಿಸುತ್ತೆ. ಲೈಟ್ಗೆ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ನೇಚರ್ ಇದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಇಟ್ ಪ್ರೂವ್ಸ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ನೇಚರ್ ಆಫ್ ಲೈಟ್. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಫೋಟೋ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್, ಅಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ proved by Einstein. So Einstein's photoelectric effect. What is the meaning of photoelectric effect, and what is its experimental arrangement, and what are the results of photoelectric effect, right? And what is the effect of frequency, what is the effect of intensity, what is the effect of say stopping potential, kinetic energy. These are the sub concepts in photoelectric effect. So next we will learn about wave nature of light. Wave nature of light alli de Broglie waves anta barutade. De Broglie waves ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು, de Broglie wave equation ಯಾವುದು, ಮತ್ತೇನು ಬರ್ತದೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡ್ಯಾವಿಸನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಜರ್ಮರ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಡ್ಯಾವಿಸನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಜರ್ಮರ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ವೇವ್ ನೇಚರ್ನ ಪ್ರೂವ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್, ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ನೇಚರ್ ಆಫ್ ಲೈಟ್ನ ಪ್ರೂವ್ ಮಾಡುವಂತಹ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಯಾವುದು ಅಂದರೆ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಫೋಟೋ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್. ಯಾವುದು? ಫೋಟೋ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್. ಅದೇ ನೀವು ವೇವ್ ನೇಚರ್ನ ಪ್ರೂವ್ ಮಾಡುವಂಥ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಯಾವುದು ಅಂದರೆ ಯಾವುದು? ವೇವ್ ನೇಚರ್ನ ಪ್ರೂವ್ ಮಾಡುವಂಥ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆರಿಮೆಂಟು ಡ್ಯಾವಿಸನ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಜರ್ಮರ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆರಿಮೆಂಟ್. ಯಾವುದು? ಡ್ಯಾವಿಸನ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಜರ್ಮರ್ experiment that proves wave nature of light. So these are and about photon particle nature of light na ತೋರಿಸೋದು ಯಾವುದು? ಫೋಟಾನ್ಗಳು packets of energy. So what are photons? Photons are the packets of energy. So what is photon? What are the different properties of photon? What are the symbols related to photon? That we will learn in this chapter. So and this chapter, from this chapter you are getting 5 marks for your final examination. So first concept I want to start, see electron emission. Electron emission. Electron emission. See, this is the metal. Imagine this is the metal. This is metal, and these are all electrons. These are all electrons. Metal, and these are, yes, what are these? These are electrons, right? So these electrons in a metal, they are covered by the. They are not free to come out of the metal very easily. Even valence electrons also. We say that all metals are having some number of free electrons, but those free electrons are not. They cannot move out of the metal very easily. ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಮೆಟಲಲ್ಲೂ ಫ್ರೀ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಗಳಿದಾವೆ. ಫ್ರೀ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಸುಲಭವಾಗಿ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಬರೋಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಗಳು see, if an electron tries to come out of the metal, if this electron is trying to come out of the metal, these are electrons ಇವೆಲ್ಲ electrons ಇದೇನಿದು metal surface ಇದೆ. metal surface. See, now this electron attempts to come out of the metal surface. Then this metal surface it gains positive charges. The metal surface gains positive charges, and you know that there exists, see, metal surface means here the metal surface when the electrons are trying to go out of the metal, when electrons tries to escape from the metal surface gains positive charges, and electron is initially negatively charged particle. Thereby the surface starts pulling the electrons back to their initial positions. So no electron can come out of the metal surface easily. So for this reason, here these surfaces, they are having barrier forces. Barrier forces means opposing forces. So electrons are not allowed to move out of the metal very easily. If you want to remove an electron from the metal surface, see here electrons are responsible for conductivity of the metals. So in some process we need the emission of electrons. We need to get electrons for any further experimental process like that, right? In a vacuum tube, X-ray tubes, photocells, their electrons are needed. Electrons are like photocells, vacuum chamber, vacuum tube, X-ray tube. There is some work regarding electrons. So right. So what is the procedure for removing of electrons? So we should apply some, at least some amount of external energy. We should send energy, external energy to the metals, so that electrons gain sufficient energy to leave the atoms, to leave the metals, to leave the atoms of the metals. So here this external energy may be, heat energy. This may be heat energy, light energy, electric or magnetic field, or kinetic energies, kinetic energy from an electrical source, kinetic energy from an electrical source. So here see, to remove an electron from the metal surface, you need to apply an external energy, you need to send an external energy for this surface. So when you send an external energy for this surface, then the electrons of the surface, they gain sufficient energy so that they can easily come out of the metal surface. So the process of emission of electrons from a metal surface is called electron emission. Yes, what is an electron emission? The process of, it is the process of emission of electrons, from metal surface is called electron emission. So here you need to supply an external energy for the removal of electrons. Based on the external energy what you are providing for the electron emission, there are three types of electron emission. Types of electron emission. The first one is, what is the first one? First one is the thermionic emission. First type is thermionic emission. The second type is field emission. Yes, what is the second type of electron emission? Field emission. And third type is photoelectric emission. Yes, what is the first one? Thermionic emission. What is the second one? Field emission. And what is the third one? Photoelectric emission. So, what is an electron emission? The process of emission of electrons from a metal surface is called electron emission. And what are the types of electron emission? First one is thermionic emission, second one is field emission, and the third one is photoelectric emission. So what is the first one? Thermionic emission means emission of electrons from a metal surface by means of heating that metal. Here electrons are emitted from the metal surface by heating. See, if you provide heat energy to a metal, that metal starts emitting electrons. So those electrons which are emitted from the metal surface by heating, that phenomena is called thermionic emission, and the electrons emitted are called thermoelectrons. ಏನಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ ಇದು? Thermoelectrons ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾವೆ. ಈ phenomena ಬಂದಿದ್ದು thermoelectrons. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಇನ್ ಸಿ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವ್ಯಾಕ್ಯೂಮ್ ಚೇಂಬರ್ಸ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ತರ ಒಂದು ಫಿನಾಮಿನಾ ವ್ಯಾಕ್ಯೂಮ್ ಚೇಂಬರ್. ವ್ಯಾಕ್ಯೂಮ್ ಟ್ಯೂಬ್ಸ್ in vacuum tubes fermionic emission takes place. Here say what is the amount of heat required means you should increase the temperature of the metal up to 2500 degrees Celsius. 2500 degrees Celsius. So this is the amount of temperature you should give to the metal surface. So you go on heating. When you go on heating the metal, the temperature of the metal increases. When the temperature of the metal becomes 2500 degrees Celsius, the metal starts emitting electrons. Those electrons are called thermoelectrons, right? So based on the temperature, electrons are emitted. So when temperature still increases, more number of electrons are emitted from the metal surface. So this is called thermionic emission. Thermionic means heat. Heat energy. Field emission. The second one is field emission. Field emission is the type of electron emission. It is the type of electron emission where electrons are emitted. By providing an electric field. By providing an electric field of the order of 10 to the power of 8 volt per meter. By providing an electric field of 10 to the power of 8 volt per meter. ಇಷ್ಟು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಒಂದು ವೋಲ್ಟೇಜ್ ನ ಇಷ್ಟು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಒಂದು ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ನ ನಾವು ಕೊಟ್ರೆ ಮೆಟಲ್ಗೆ, the metal starts emitting electrons. That is field emission. The emission of electrons from a metal surface by providing an electric field of the order of 10 to the power of 8 volt per meter, that is called field emission. And this type of field emission, this type of electron emission, it takes place in X-ray tubes. X-ray tubes ನಲ್ಲಿ ಈ type of electron emission ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Next, photoelectric emission. Third one is photoelectric emission. Photoelectric emission means here see this is the metal. I am sending light radiations, light rays of suitable frequency. So these metals start emitting electrons. These are electrons which are called photoelectrons, and the phenomenon is called photoelectric emission. The emission of electrons from a metal surface when a light of suitable frequency falls on it is called photoelectric emission. The emission of electrons are the phenomenon, you can say the phenomenon in which electrons are emitted from the metal surface when a light of suitable frequency falls on it is called photoelectric emission. So here the light which you are sending, it may be ultraviolet light or sunlight or mercury light or light from any source, that must have a standard frequency. So that if the light is having suitable frequency, then only the electrons are easily leaving the atoms of the metal and they are emitted out. So this process is called photoelectric emission. So you see in all the process, in all the types of electron emission, the electrons which are present inside the metal, they need energy. They need some energy. They require some energy. and they are taking the energy by means of light here from the light. They are electrons are accepting the energy from the light in photoelectric emission, from the electric field in the field emission, from the heat energy in the thermionic emission. So without that energy is compulsory, that energy is necessary for the removal of electrons from the metal surface. So that the minimum energy required for electron emission, the minimum energy required for electron emission, that is called work function of the metal. Work function of the metal, work function. Work function is, what is work function? The minimum energy required for the minimum energy required for electron emission. The minimum energy required for electron emission is called work function. This is called work function. Work function and this work function is phi naught. Its symbol is phi naught. Symbol is phi naught, and formula for phi naught equals to h nu naught. Phi naught is equals to h nu naught. So here h is called Planck's constant. Nu naught is called threshold frequency. That we will learn in next chapter. Threshold frequency. Nu naught is called threshold frequency. Yes. H is called phi naught is work function. H is Planck's constant. Planck's constant. Nu naught is threshold frequency. Nu naught is called threshold frequency. What is a threshold frequency? And detailed study of photoelectric emission, that I am going to discuss in your next class. In today's class, we started dual nature of radiation and matter and discussed the introduction of the chapter, and also you learned the first concept, electron emission, and the types of electron emission. And in this concept you learned two definitions. One is electron emission, the process of emission of electrons from the metal surface, and work function is the minimum amount of energy required for electron emission. So the minimum amount of energy required for electron emission is work function. Work function is denoted by phi naught. And remember, this work function is different for different metals. For cesium it is very minimum. For cesium atom, work function is minimum. For platinum it is very maximum. And one more thing, work function is measured in electron volt. Work function is measured. What is the unit of work function? Work function is measured in the electron volt. Unit is EV, small e, capital V, electron volt. Work function is measured in the electron volt. Phi naught is minimum. It is minimum for cesium. It is minimum for cesium metal. Around 2 eV stays. Minimum amount of energy is required for emission of electrons from cesium metal. So work function is minimum for cesium metal. Phi naught is maximum. Phi naught is maximum for platinum metal. for platinum metal. For platinum metal it is around 5.6 ev, 5.6 ev something. So it is maximum for platinum metal. ವರ್ಕ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು ನಿಮಗೆ, ವರ್ಕ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಎನರ್ಜಿನ ನೀವು ಸಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ವರ್ಕ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್. ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಬೇಕು ಪ್ಲಾಟಿನಮ್ಗೆ ಆ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ರಿಮೂವ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ, ಕಡಿಮೆ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಬೇಕು ಸೀಸಿಯಂಗೆ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ರಿಮೂವ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್. ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ SI ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಆಫ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್? ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ವೋಲ್ಟ್. ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ವೋಲ್ಟ್ ಸಿಂಬಲ್ ಈಸ್ EV, right? What is an electron volt? Concept is see definition of electron volt means ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ಗೆ 1 ವೋಲ್ಟ್ ಅಷ್ಟು ಪೊಟೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ನ ಕೊಟ್ರೆ ಅದು ಎಷ್ಟು ಎನರ್ಜಿನ ತಗೊಳುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ವೋಲ್ಟ್. ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ವೋಲ್ಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ವೋಲ್ಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಡಿಫೈನ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ದ ಎನರ್ಜಿ gained by an electron, one electron, energy gained by an electron when that electron is accelerated. When that electron is accelerated ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಪೊಟೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ, ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, accelerated. When that electron is accelerated by a potential difference of 1 volt. See the energy gained by an electron when that electron is accelerated by a potential difference of 1 volt is called electron volt. ಅದನ್ನ ಏನಂತ ಕರೀತಾರ? ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್ ವೋಲ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. ಒಂದು ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನಿಗೆ 1 ವೋಲ್ಟ್ ಅಷ್ಟು ಪೊಟೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ನ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಅದರ ವೇಗವನ್ನ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಅದು ಎಷ್ಟು ಶಕ್ತಿಯನ್ನ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ, ಅದು ಎಷ್ಟು ಶಕ್ತಿಯನ್ನ ಪಡೆದುಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದೇ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನ್. And remember, 1 eV is always equals to 1 eV is always equals to 1.602 into 10 to the power of minus 19 joules. What is the value of 1 eV? 1 electron volt. 1 electron volt is equals to 1.602 into 10 to the power of 1.602 into 10 to the power of minus 19 joule. ಇಷ್ಟು ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಆ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಾನಿಕ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಜೌಲ್, ಕೂಲಂಬ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಚಾರ್ಜ್, ಜೌಲ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. 1 eV ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಎಷ್ಟು? 1.602 into 10 to the power of minus 19 joules. Okay, watch this video for 2 times so that you will definitely understand about the dual nature, about electron emission, work function, right? So in the next class I am starting photoelectric effect. Have a nice day.